10-Minute Jazz Lesson Podcast, episode 435. Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 435 of the 10-Minute Jazz Lesson Podcast. We are going to keep teaching you this etude. I have one question for you though. Did you go through the process of hear, sing, play? Did you do it? Because if you didn't do it and you didn't learn that 8 bars that I taught in episode 434, just turn this off right now. Go back and learn it, and you'll be ready for the stuff that I'm going to give you today. Because what we're going to do today is we are going to go on and learn 8 more bars. And then your homework this week is going to be to put the first 16 bars together. So to take what you learned last week, add to it this week, and then combine the 2 phrases into a 16-bar piece of material. And remember, we are eventually working our way up to 32 full bars of material. So you really, really want to make sure that you're staying on top of this, that you're going with the episodes and you're taking a little bit of your practice time over this month, and you are either learning or reinforcing the stuff that I'm teaching you in these episodes. And obviously you're going to have to remember more and more and more and more as we get deeper into the month, right? So really make sure that you know the material, down cold before you get the new piece of material. And that'll make your life a lot easier because necessarily you will have to spend more time stringing them together into a longer statement. Okay? So also remember, the process here is that you are going to hear it. And when I say hear it, I mean listen to it on a really, really deep level. Listen to it with the main goal to absorb it. And that's probably going to require a lot of repetitions through the listening part of this thing. Once you feel like you're ready, sing it. So put on those recordings a bunch more times, but now you're trying to sing it. And remember, you're not only trying to match the pitches, but you are also trying to make it sound stylistically correct, because that is going to be huge when you reach the final stage, which is play, which is to actually grab your instrument and play through what you have heard and what you have sang. And that third step, if you've done the first 2 steps deeply enough, and you've taken them seriously enough, that third step should go a lot faster for you because you've poured over the material so many times. You've internalized it. You have checked with yourself that what you are hearing is in fact what you're hearing, because if you can sing it, you can really, really hear it. Now you just have to transfer it over to the instrument, and this builds such a great connection between your ears and your voice and your instrument, which is why I'm such a big fan of this process. Okay, so I want to play 2 iterations of the new 8-bar phrase. I'm going to play one on saxophone, and then I'm going to play one on keys. And I want you to just sit back and listen to these next 8 bars. And then what we'll do is we'll combine them. All right, so here's the new material. All right, so there you have it. Let's listen to it one more time. We're going to do it a little bit slower. That was 120 BPM. Now I want to play them again, but at 90 BPM. right, so that should give you a really good idea of what we're getting into this week. And you could just start the process. Well, actually, you just did start the process. You started the process of listening. Now all you have to do is listen to it a lot more times and then get to singing and then get to playing. But of course, now that this is the second episode, we have to remember that our goal is to combine this with what I presented last week into a 16-bar phrase and be able to play that from memory, no mistakes, with barely even thinking about it. So not only are we asking you to do more, but we're also working on a really crucial thing in music, which is memory. Right? You've got to be able to memorize these long swaths of material, and working on it in this way is really, really going to help you with that. So you may not struggle with this at all. You might just be able to put it right, learn the second 8 bars, put it right together, no mistakes. But a lot of you, and I know this about myself, the majority of the time will actually come from practicing the entire 16 bars together without stopping or making mistakes or hesitating or whatever. So this process could look a little bit different depending on who you are, the way your brain works, your strengths, your weaknesses, all that good stuff. But remember, the goal for everybody is to come out of this week with 16 bars of material, just 100% under our fingers, in our brains, in our ears. We could play it in an airtight way. If I asked you to play it 10 times in a row, you'd be able to play it 10 times perfectly. Okay, so here is the full 16 bars on saxophone, a little bit faster at 144 BPM. Okay, so have fun with that. Now remember, I'm going to give all the Patreon members a whole bunch of different iterations of that. So you'll get a whole bunch of tracks with the second 8 bars on piano and saxophone. And then you will also get a whole bunch of tracks of the entire 16 bars at a bunch of different tempos on piano and saxophone so that you can really, really dig into this. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, we don't do any advertisements on this show. So instead, we just rely on people that are actually getting the benefits out of the show to support us. We do that in the form of a small monthly donation, and we use the Patreon platform to do that. So if you want all the materials from this episode and every episode that we've ever done, you can hop on over to our website, 10minutejazzlesson.com, click on one of the Patreon banners, or you can simply go to patreon.com and search for the 10-minute jazz lesson. You'll get all the information, what it costs, what are the benefits, and you can make a decision on whether you want to support us or not. Quick shout out to 2 new patrons this week. Thank you to Haedong and Murray. Thank you guys so much for joining up to be a part of the family, support the show, keeps the lights on over here, and you get all those fantastic materials in return. And of course, to the over 350 people we have over there supporting the show. We definitely couldn't do this without you. So we really, really appreciate it. Again, 10minutejazzlesson.com. Click on one of the Patreon banners, or patreon.com. Search for the 10-Minute Jazz Lesson podcast. All right, everybody, have fun this week, and we'll see you with the next 8 bars next week. Bye.